Welcome to episode 2 of Let's Get Financially Fit, brought to you by the Financial Spot, powered by Liberty Bank. I am your host, Brooks Benjamin, and I am super excited to have this conversation today because if you are a small business owner and in need for just some extra capital to help you just do some things with your business, you need to stay tuned and listen to everything we have to say today. I have with me two experts in small business credit lending, Ashley Mogillis and David Buggage, and I'll let them introduce themselves. So I'll start with Ashley here to my right.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ashley Mogillis, Business Development Manager and Visa Portfolio Manager for Liberty Bank. My primary role is to help my customers identify the products and services that work best for their business. We customize products for our individual customers. We, as on the business development side, we look to maximize that relationship. We look to ensure that our customer knows of all of the products and services that we have and how it can fit in their business dynamic. On the Visa side, we are looking to service our customers and ensure that their credit cards are working for them instead of them working for their credit cards. We have very low interest rates for our business as well as personal customers. Might I add, one of the lowest interest rates in the country on credit cards that we have for our customers. We also look to give our customers tools and resources that can help them to service their individual business needs. And so today we'll talk about that and get into a little bit of detail and how we can help you maximize your business.
And then David.
Hi, everyone. My name is David Buggage. I am the Senior Consumer Loan Officer and Partnership Lending Officer here at Liberty Bank. I've been with the bank over 12 years. I oversee the underwriting and analysis of the entire consumer loan area, the Liberty Loan and Liberty Small Business Visa loan products, and I manage our partnership lending programs.
Okay, thank y'all for joining me today. I want to start off with the small business Visa credit card because a lot of people are familiar with personal credit cards, but I don't think they're as familiar with how a Visa credit card could help their business. So Ashley, can you tell us about the difference between the two and the benefits of using a business Visa card?
Sure, right. So a personal credit card is for a person, an individual. A business credit card is for a business that is owned by a business. Businesses often give their employees access to the credit card so that they can make purchases for the business. This credit card would be in the name of the business and not in the name of the business owner. As a personal credit card, it would be attached to interest, and it is a revolving line of credit.
Okay. So tell us about what a revolving line of credit is for your business.
So with a business credit card, as well as a personal credit card, you would have a limit that's established. Based on that limit, you would be able to charge to that limit amount, right? So our customer would be able, and we get this a lot, right? Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of customers that will come in and say, it's hurricane season, and this happens all the time, especially this time of the year. It's hurricane season. My staff needs to evacuate. I still need them to work. They're going to work remotely, but I need to pay their hotel expenses. So that business would then be able to put the charges from that hotel on their credit card. That would enable the business to continue to operate, and it will give their staff shelter during that hurricane period.
So, David, do you have anything to add on that?
Yes. What I've found with Small Business Visa, how it's really helpful to a small business owner is when it's the quarterly or year end, when it's proper time for preparing those internal financial statements.
Right.
It's much easier for your accountant or your person that does your internal books to pull that small business visa statement and get a list of those expenses instead of having to dig through that personal statement or your checking account looking for canceled checks or anything like that.
Right.
So that's one of the big benefits of having that card.
Right. That's a great point. One thing that I've also noticed our customers will be very excited about, and mostly I think their accountant is more excited than they are, because they're able to categorize those transactions, those expenses. So they can have travel, they can have auto expenses. There's a list of categories that our customers can select and filter those transactions for their account. And I've found that that is very helpful, especially for a smaller business that may not have a separate person or a separate CFO or a separate accounting staff to assist them with their day-to-day operations. We found that that has been very helpful for our customers.
Right. And you can also look at, and I do, and a lot of small businesses do too also, is look at that small business visa as your first line of credit with training wheels, right?
Yeah.
So all small businesses will eventually need a line of credit for different reasons, whether it's payroll support, working capital, equipment, a number of different things. But that small business visa is a beginning.
Yeah.
It can be used and managed as a line of credit where you're charging and then paying down and then reusing. And so it gets the customer, our customer, the small business owner, in the habit of understanding how to manage that line of credit, and then eventually and hopefully they can step up to something larger.
Right. And the way that they're also able to manage the credit card for their employees, we found that's been very helpful, especially when you have companies that have employees that travel, right? So the company does cover that, but it's easier for the company to track those expenses if they have everything on the credit card. So when they pull that statement, they're able to see the dining expense for their employee during that time. They're able to see if they're renting a car during that time. Right. So it just helps that small business to really be able to manage on a day-to-day basis.
Right. And it also helps them manage the available credit limits per employee. Yeah. So I recently had a credit application for a client that was approved for a certain limit, but had 8 employees.
I remember it.
And the customer the customer wanted different limits for all 8. Some as low as 500, some as low as 2,000. Yeah. So we were able to assign different limits so that the business owner had control over what those individual employees were able to spend on that card.
And what we've also seen, there's customers that will have this established limit that you'll approve for them, but they don't have all of the employees at that time that they want to extend that limit to, right? So you'll have somewhat of a reserve limit. And so we also have customers that adjust their employees' limits based on their activity. And so that's another way, another resource that gives the business control over their line of credit.
Right.
So y'all see, they have come ready to talk about our small business visa product. It is a great product. We get a lot of questions about our small business visa, particularly where it comes to the interest rates. So can y'all kind of talk through what a typical interest rate looks like for our small business visa?
Yes. So we have a very low interest rate on our credit cards. It starts off on our business credit cards as low as 9.96. We've found that our customers are very excited about that. That is, in many cases, lower than a business line of credit for our customers. So our interest rate as low as 9.96 really goes over very well with our customers. As it relates to what it takes for them to be approved for the credit card, there are many different factors that we look at. We look at the business, the amount of time that the business has been in existence. We look at the credit of the business itself, the financials, historic financials for the business, their tax returns. We do, in many cases, especially because this is a small business, we look at the business owner's tax returns and their ability to repay as well. David does it on an everyday, all day in his sleep. So he probably could be a little bit more detailed, but we are looking at the business as a whole, and as a small business, that business owner is their business.
Right. So I want to circle back to the rate in our 9.96% interest rate on our card. So most, and this is a pet peeve of mine, most other institutions, when they're advertising their card, they're advertising points and giveaways.
Right.
Right. So our particular card, there's no points, there's no giveaways. So the other guys, I'll just say that, the other guys, they're advertising points and giveaways because your interest rate is so high.
Right.
Right? So by the time you receive your points and giveaways, you paid for them. Right? So our management has decided to go in a different direction. We cut all of that out, and we just offer our clients a low interest rate.
Right.
Right. And so that's something that I think we as an institution pride ourselves on, and just something that I think customers and small business owners need to educate themselves on as to what are you actually getting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I've had that conversation with customers. I mean, I've had the conversation of, this is my statement and this is the amount of points I have, but this is my interest rate, and comparing what they've paid in interest to what they're receiving in points. They're paying for it, and they're paying over in many cases for it. So if you are a customer, for sure, that's going to carry a balance. Interest rate matters.
Right.
Interest rate definitely matters.
Now, if there is a small business owner that has a card from the others with a big interest rate and they want to switch to a smaller interest rate, is it possible for them to like transfer that balance or consolidate?
Yes.
Is that an easy process for them to do?
It is a seamless process. We do offer balance transfer as low as 9.96 as well, and that's not an introductory rate. That is our rate, and that's very important for customers to understand when you are evaluating what card you want to take advantage of. If the rate is a variable rate or if the rate is a fixed rate, is there terms to it? Meaning, is this introductory for 6 months, then it's 0%, or if it's 6 months, is it 9.96? For us, it's not an introductory rate. That is your balance transfer rate. So that's very important to note, because if I transfer the balance over this month, right, and I haven't paid that balance off by next month, or even the following month, that my rate on that balance transfer is the same. In many cases, customers don't realize that once you have exhausted that time period, that your rate changes. And in many cases, it is a significantly higher rate. So then you find yourself paying for these transactions on a higher interest rate, where if you would have taken advantage or explored where you could possibly have a rate that is fixed, not variable, it would have probably panned out a little bit better for you.
Yep. So let's switch and talk about our small business loan. So we talked about a small business credit card, but let's talk about a small business loan and what the difference is, and why would a business kind of opt into getting a loan over a credit card?
Okay, so our loan product is the Liberty Lightning loan product. It is a fixed rate, fixed term loan product. The term is long as 60 months. The loan amount is up to $50,000. Now, we do make loans above that amount, but with this particular product, it's up to $50,000. We promise a possible funding within 48 hours after receiving a complete application. You'll receive an answer within 24 hours after receiving a complete application. Uses of the product: working capital for a small business, equipment purchases, payroll support, vehicle purchases, things like that. I recently had a technology company. I guess I can call them a technology company. It was a wireless contractor who, what this gentleman did is he built out cell towers in the Gulf South. And he had about $500,000 in revenues, but AT&T wanted to give him a lot more work. He needed capital so that he can support 5 additional employees until he's able to start invoicing and receiving those funds. So basically, he needed capital to pay those paychecks for a month or so before he could he'll start receiving funds from AT&T. So we were able to provide him with that $50,000 loan in addition to a small business credit card to help him out. And he was able to take on those additional sites. So that's one example of the way the product can be helpful to a company. And what we've done is we've streamlined the application process. We've streamlined the underwriting and analysis process, and we've streamlined the document collection process. So in order to make it an easy process for the customers. But with all of that said, and this is me as based on my years in this business, that there's always a challenge with small business owners in producing paper, right? Mm-hmm. So our business is about collecting and analysis of paper, right? And some small business owners, they find that they're challenged with that, right? Mm-hmm. So one thing I suggest to all small business owners, if they want to be successful, is if you don't have that skill of understanding numbers and putting your paper together, you need to hire someone, right? Either in-house or outsource it, whatever, because it's very important for your business if you intend to grow your business. And with all small businesses, and that's why this loan product is important and the visa is important. With all small businesses, eventually, there's going to be a need to borrow money. Something's going to happen. Or if you intend to grow the business, you can't grow without borrowing money. You can only finance your business so much out of the cash register or out of your pocket.
Right.
So being able to produce paper for your banker is very, very important. So, there's a number of partners that we work with that can work with small business owners to help them get through that process. And we also have some folks that can help with that.
Yep. And you talked about having a decision within 24 hours after we receive a completed application. What is involved? And you talked about having the paper. Right. So what is involved? Right. What do they need for a completed application?
What's the paper?
Right. What's the paper?
So the initial piece is completing an application, and that's the important word: complete. Right, and submitting that to our offices, either at a branch or through our website, a small business loan application. Once we receive that application, we'll do an initial screening to see if we can move you to the next phase of underwriting, where we will request documents, paper. Usually we like to see last 2 years tax returns of the small business. We'd like to see internal financial statements if you have it, income statement, balance sheet. Some businesses are not to the point where they will have those financial statements prepared. They haven't grown yet. Right? They may just have tax returns. So what we'll ask for, instead of that, we may ask for 3 months or 4 months of business bank statements. We were able to get the same type of information that we need for the analysis as from the internal financial statement. And finally, we also do all of these loans are guaranteed by the small business owner. So we'll do an analysis and do a review of credit history of the primary business owner. Okay. So the key is getting that information in, getting it in timely, and then once we have that, we can do our magic.
Wonderful. So one other question I had was, does a small business need to have an existing relationship with Liberty to apply for a loan?
So no, they don't have to have an existing relationship to apply for any product or service that we have. Of course, we want to ensure that our customers are using as many products as possible. A part of that, as your banker, we would look to see what is the best fit for you, right? So as your banker, I'm going to look and see if you have a checking account, if you have a savings account, what your business needs are for as cash management. Your banker is very important. Establishing that relationship is very important. Your banker begins to understand you, your business, what your business needs are. And then from there, we're able to identify what products you may need to make you overall successful. One beautiful part about Liberty is that we're big enough to offer all the same products and services that everybody else offers, but we're small enough to still have those connections and those relationships and talk to our customer to identify what it's going to take for them to achieve their ultimate goal.
Right. So the question was, is it necessary to have a relationship with the bank to be able to borrow from the bank? And the answer to that is no, it's not. We will take applications and review applications and lend to folks that are customers and folks that are not customers. But there is a benefit to having a relationship with the bank, a deposit relationship with the bank. An example of that is if we have customers, small business customers, that are not able to provide us with those internal financials, that income statement. So the income statement is used by my department, the analysis, the analysts in the department, to determine revenues and expenses. If they are not able to generate that income statement, but have a relationship with the bank, a deposit account, a business checking account, we are able to maybe take 6 months of bank statements and then see income and expenses. So it is a plus that you have a relationship with the bank. It helps in a lot of ways. But we also will look at any customer across the United States that wants to apply for a loan.
Wonderful. So I think the biggest takeaway from our conversation today is having your paper together.
Exactly.
Having your paper together. And that will make it easy.
In more ways than one.
Yeah.
Right.
And make it easier for us to make a decision and just consult you on the best thing that you need to do if you want to grow or scale or just get any capital that you need for your business. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I thank y'all for watching or listening. I'm putting a QR code on the screen for you to learn more about these two particular products, our small business Visa card and our Lightning loan. So scan that code and you'll be taken to a landing page that tells you all about these two products. And it'll also have an opportunity for you to apply if you are ready to apply. We will have a new episode of Get Financially Fit every month. So like, follow, subscribe, and share to our YouTube channel so you could be the first to hear about the new episodes that come out. And we will see y'all next month from our financial spot powered by Liberty Bank.